to Singapore. Professor Dragan Savic, CEO of KWR Water Research Institute. Mr. Harry Seah, Deputy Chief Executive of the Public Utilities Board, PUB of Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon if you are in Singapore and Asia, and good morning if you are in the Netherlands and Europe. I warmly welcome you all to the online launch of the Community of Practice in Circular Economy and Zero Waste. My name is Johan Koinaven and I will be your MC for this event today. I'd like to mention that this event is being recorded so that we can share it with members who could not join us. Today, we launch the Community of Practice in Circular Economy and Zero Waste. This community has been established as a result of the Partners for International Business Research Singapore program, which aims at stimulating the transition from a linear to circular economy in both Singapore and the Netherlands, and hopefully broader than these two countries. This was planned to be a face-to-face launch, but for obvious reasons, we could not do it. Nevertheless, we are very pleased that we can have this online launch. We will hear more about the Research Singapore program and the purpose of the community of practice later in the program. But for now, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome Her Excellency, Mrs. Verno, Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to Singapore, for her opening address. Madam Ambassador.
Thank you very much. And it's so nice to be here in this special week for the Netherlands, the week where we celebrate King's Day, our national day. And that was last Tuesday. And I drank a glass of water to celebrate because actually that's my favorite drink in Singapore. And not just any water, PUB water. When I came to my residence, all the water was in plastic bottles. And I decided that that was not very sustainable. I went to see a lot of PUB facilities and I tasted the water, and actually it's excellent. It's like the quality of the Dutch water, which is also very healthy and better than the bottled water in quality. So I'm happy that I could say cheers with my glass of water and that we're here 2 days later to celebrate Singapore and Dutch collaboration on the water management. And Harry, my dear friend, Mr. Harry Seah, it's so good to see you again, because you are the one who made me taste new water. I really appreciate that, because that's something where I think Singapore leads the way. It was wastewater before, and now it's actually quite coveted because it's not that easy to get a bottle of new water and drink it yourself. So I keep two in my room just to show others that I'm well connected in Singapore. And Harry, I'm also very pleased, and I'd like to congratulate you with your appointment as honorary fellow at KWR this year. I think it's important. It's not just countries that connect, it's people that connect. And it's very important that we have you to connect Singapore to the Netherlands and to learn from each other. And not just you. The Dutch are good at getting excellent expats working for them. Like we have Professor Dragan Savic, who we sort of scouted from Serbia, from London, and who's now since 2018 helping the Dutch with their water management. And you're doing a great job, Professor. So I'm really happy that we could work with you. Water share, what you've done, what you've built is really important also to me as an ambassador. And people who know me know that I'm really committed to a circular economy. And I'm really pleased that the Netherlands will be fully circular by 2050. But that means that in only 10 years, we will have to reduce the use of raw materials by 50%. And that's not easy. Priorities are biomass and food, plastics, the manufacturing industry, construction sector and consumer goods. But we're doing what we can. And in 2017 already, 180 Dutch business community partners signed a national raw materials agreement. And they said that they want to create a Dutch economy that operates on the basis of reusable raw materials. Because we believe a circular economy is not just good for climate, it's good for business. And you know, the Dutch, we always want to make money as well. And I think it's nice that we have that combination of creating jobs, feeling better, and coming up with a new lease, a green lease on economy. But we can't do that on our own. We do it with EU partners, but also especially with Singapore. I've been in Singapore for over 3.5 years, and I've seen a change. When I came to Singapore with my reusable bag in the supermarket, I was the lone customer. Now you see many Singaporeans doing the same. You notice Singapore discussing maybe charging for plastic bags and seeing what we can do together. So I'm really sort of struck by how open Singapore has become to sustainability. It's not for nothing that the new Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment has been renamed. I see it not just in the wording, but also in the actions. And on water management, we can learn a lot from Singapore, and Singapore can learn from us as well. And together, I hope we can sort of share with the world. And I think this platform will enable organizations, governments, but researchers, not just in Singapore and the Netherlands, but all over the world, to share, to accumulate, and to do more stuff together. And that's what I'm so proud of, that there are so many excellent individuals from Singapore and from the Netherlands working together and making my life as an ambassador much easier. I've had the privilege of having my virtual King's Day moment with Senior Minister of State for Sustainability and the Environment and Transport, Dr. Amy Koor. Dr. Koor has become a great friend, and she's been traveling to the Netherlands several times. She knows my country well. She knows a lot about the water management, and she knows even more about what's happening in Singapore. And I think this, told her, is one of the examples of what we're doing together to make a difference in a very pragmatic way. So that's why I'm very glad that I can be part of your community. And we also at the Embassy are looking forward to learning from this new pragmatic digital forum. Thank you so much for having me and for giving me the opportunity to open this wonderful event. Thank you, Johan.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, for gracing us with your presence and inspiring speech, and for making time for us from your busy schedule and other responsibilities. Thank you. Our next keynote speaker is Professor Dragan Savic, CEO of KWR Water Research Institute, who will share with us his remarks. Professor Savic, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Johan, and thank you, Madam Ambassador, for that introduction. It's very difficult to follow in those steps. I'll try. Basically, I'm really pleased to be in this online launch of the Community of Practice in Circular Economy and Zero Waste. And on behalf of KWR, very pleased that we are engaged in this. For those of you who don't know our organization, KWR Water Research Institute was part of KIVA, the Certification Institute, formed in 1948. And then the research in water started in 1972. So quite soon we will celebrate 50 years of research that we do. We are independent and not-for-profit entity since 2006 with about 180 scientists, and our main goal is sustainable water provision in the entire water cycle. And part of that is also water in the circular economy program that we run, which we call WISE at short. So KWR is very much engaged in the transition to a circular economy. more specifically with this WISE program, Water in the Circular Economy. And, we look into safe water reuse that requires an interdisciplinary approach from sustainability, legislation, regulation point of view, water treatment technologies, health and safety, reuse in agricultural industry, and subsurface water storage. All of those are covered by us. And also, we are as a kind of partner in this, we're bridging kind of science to practice. That's our key motto. Bringing innovative concepts to fully fledged alternatives to enable different applications and achieve a circular economy water cycle. And, we look into water cycle within a broad context, social context in particular, so the water, energy, food, health nexus, while keeping the UN Sustainable Development Goals in mind. But what is kind of important for us is that the circular economy is the alternative to what we do today, which is essentially linear economy. While we take this approach where we take, make, and dispose in terms of materials and energy, the circular economy is founded on the principle of circular by design. And that's what we are trying to do in the water sector. So, when you look into the water sector, what do you think are the resources in the water cycle? And obviously, fresh water is already recycled. I mean, we have the water cycle, so it's a very good example of circularity. But then we have biosolids, we have the energy embedded in water, we have phosphorus, cellulose, biopolymers, protein, organic matter, bioplastics, all of those. And the water sector is an excellent position to implement resource efficiency in practice. So we're going from use to reuse in the water sector. So what is community of practice in circular economy and zero waste? What does it mean to us? Well, it means very simply that we are looking into a platform to exchange knowledge with other colleagues, and particularly colleagues between, and within the Netherlands and Singapore, to promote innovative entrepreneurship, because the science of reuse, of circular economy cannot go without entrepreneurship. And Madam Ambassador mentioned Dutch as being quite good at that. So, and I'm also assured that Singaporeans are good at that. So it's a good match there. And so we need to develop new business models that foster the transition to a circular economy, and also bring together like-minded people, like stakeholders that will share knowledge and experience with practical challenges in order to accelerate our transition to circular economy. So all of that has to be in our community of practice. And community of practice is only good if we are active in it. So this is my kind of invitation for everybody to become part of this great initiative. So one of the things that we kind of do is a step towards circular economy is to understand materials flow, water resources, and waste flow. And most recently, KWR conducted a study of material flow analysis of 4 material streams: food, plastic, incinerator, bottom ash, and resources in the water cycle, comparing Singapore and Netherlands with that aim to promote innovative entrepreneurship and business opportunities for Singaporean and Dutch companies. Many key insights came out of the study, one of which is that both Singapore and the Netherlands can learn from each other in this transition to circular economy because of the similarities both countries present. There are also opportunities for knowledge generation and exchange in order to enhance circularity of the 4 streams mentioned. So with that, I would just say that KWR, we're very pleased to be involved in this initiative and look forward to collaboration. And I stress again, with our colleagues in the Netherlands, with the Singaporeans and Singaporeans among themselves. So it's a great opportunity. And thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Savage, for your very insightful speech and remarks. Our last but not least keynote speaker is Mr. Harry Seah,
Okay.
Deputy Chief Executive of PUB. Mr. Seah, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, first is the good afternoon to Your Excellency, Margaret Vonna, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Netherlands to Singapore, Professor Dragan Savik. Good morning to you, Netherlands and friends. I think I'm very happy. I'm very, thrilled that we have this circular economy and zero waste community of practice. I think it's a very good platform for us in the sense of to exchange knowledge and information, collaborations, and basically also maybe create business opportunities. And I think water itself is part of this circular economy. And I think we'll do our part in the sense of sharing what Singapore's experience and hopefully to learn from the Dutch itself and to make Singapore into what I call the nations of zero waste, nations of sustainable water supply. So you got to excuse me in the sense that my presentation is on water. Actually, I'm talking about circular economy and zero waste from the water perspective. Next slide. Okay, the reason why we need to ensure that sustainable water supply is because that if we will look into the future, is that our water demand will be doubled, and that translates to 3 times more energy, and we generate 2 times more waste if we do not do anything. So in a way, the challenge for us in Singapore is, can we meet our water demand in 2060 and 2020 energy and sludge footprint? We do not have all the solutions. That's why, in a way, this community of practice is very good, in a way that we hope to learn from the Netherlands if any new solutions, I think, that will help us in our journey. So in terms of circular economy, we have our own circles. We have the water cycle, we have the energy cycle, we have the waste cycle, and among these 3 cycles, we have another cycle which connects water, energy, and waste. So our view in terms of water, that every drop is precious. We are not a resource-rich country, so we look at energy efficiency, energy generation, and substitution. And the way to change our view about waste, in terms of waste as a resource. So in terms of sustainable water management, we will try to capture every drop of water that falls within Singapore. And of course, we have another challenge here, which is flooding, because we are in the tropics. So it's quite a balancing act between wanting the water and yet in a heavy rain situation to get rid of the water as possible. So this is our ongoing challenge. As we get the water, which is fresh water in our system, we try to keep it as long in our system as possible, where it's reused endlessly, which is new water, which Your Excellency itself was there at our new water plant. And basically is that he would like to meet you maybe in future face to face if this COVID is over. And of course, in the end, in terms of using resources well, water is a resource. So water conservation is a very important key initiative or behavior that we need to inculcate. So in terms of our households, we hope to achieve 130 liters per person per day by 2030. The industries are big water users. Our goal is basically to get them to reduce their water consumption through recycling. And our target is that every year we get 3 million gallons per day of installed capacity by the industries. In terms of energy efficiency, generation and substitution, efficiency, looking at next generation membranes, equipment, digitization is a very key factor in trying to achieve energy efficiency. So these are all the things that we're looking at, and we hope to learn from the Dutch itself in terms of any new ideas of solution. Energy neutral wastewater treatment plant. The science tells us that there's enough energy in the wastewater to power a wastewater treatment plant. So what are the solutions, the technology, the process that enable us to extract this carbon from the wastewater to power our wastewater treatment plant? Substitution, although Singapore is a very small place, we try our best in terms of trying to maximize in terms of our solar deployment. And some of the new ideas of technology by the pressure retarded osmosis, which actually is an idea that came from our first collaboration with Kiwa at the time, which KWR took over. So basically, we are still developing this concept in a way of not treating waste as a resource. So this is actually a technology that we are trying to explore. We're making use of the salinity differences between two wastes, which is a seawater brine and a newater brine, to generate power. Zero waste itself, sludge itself, we try not to view sludge as a waste. So in a way, we're trying, like no different from the incineration bottom ash, we're trying to convert it into called new sand. So what you see on the right is a pavement that was done in front of our environment building, where these are the pavements with all the tiles is new sand, made of new sand. Then, of course, we are part of our Singapore Green Plan 2030, where we have 5 pillars itself. We hope to be a city in nature, try to increase our nature capital in terms of greeneries, sustainable living, where everybody in a way encouraged to reduce, recycle, reuse, and basically water conservation is one. What energy reset in terms of energy efficiency, which I told you earlier, in terms of green energy and everything. A green economy, where in a way of creating jobs, business opportunity to grow the economy, and of course, very important to us is a resilient future. Resilient future in terms of climate change that we are trying to address, food security, and in terms of our situation also in terms of flooding event. So to do that, collectively, the government and our people are the enablers in ensuring this, delivering this Green Plan 2030. So sorry, I need to squeeze in this last slide, which is International Water Week. So we are going to have this International Water Week on 21st of June 2021, called Spotlight. We are trying our best in this COVID situation to try to have as much as business as usual. So we have 2 parts to it, which is International Water Week 2021 Spotlight. It's a hybrid of physical and virtual, and followed by another 10 days of SIWW 2021 online. where we hope to have this platform, just like your community of practice, to share and to co-create innovation water solution. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sia, for your speech and very practical examples of circularity approaches. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, with the end of the keynote addresses, we therefore mark the official opening of the community of practice in circular economy and zero waste. Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, Professor Savage, and Mr. Sia for with your presence today. And I don't know whether we can have everybody to turn on the video so that we can take a picture. Our keynote speakers might not stay with us for the whole duration of the program, so it would be good to have a picture all together. So Audrey in the background will take care of that. Thank you, Audrey. Just give it a few seconds for everyone to turn on their video. So Audrey, you tell us when you're ready and when you're done, please.
You smile that long.
I think we should be fine. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. So I'm looking at the number of participants who join us today for the launch. That's 41. So that's very good number. We are very excited and thankful for your participation. Next in our program, as you might have seen in the program earlier, we have a presentation on Research Singapore. We have the coordinator of the Research Singapore program with us, Arjen van Nieuwenhuizen, who will share with us about research. Arjen, thank you.
Thank you very much, Johan, for introducing me. It's an honor for me to present Research Singapore today, give a short introduction and show you the first official launch of the video at the end. So that is really the highlight also from Research at this moment. We prepared over the last half year a nice video showing what we have done, what we will be doing for the next couple of years, also in Singapore and the Netherlands, on resource recovery and circular economy for the Green Plan, for Zero Waste Nations, and for Circular Economy 2050 in the Netherlands together. Before I close my screen and share with you the slides, I also want to thank Johan for inviting me for this, and to the ambassador. Very nice to see you again here in a digital form. I have to do this from home, but hopefully we can join together by the end of this year in Singapore again. I have to see what I'm presenting at this moment. If it's correct, you see my title slide at this moment. I don't see anybody anymore, but so short introducing Research Singapore, the program that we have been running for the last 3 years. My name is Arjen van Nieuwenhuizen. I'm here the coordinator of Research Singapore, the RVO program for international business. I work for Witteveen & Bos as R&D and Innovation Director on circular and bio-based solutions. And on Thursdays, so today, I am a part-time special associate professor at Wageningen University and AMS Institute on circular urban resources. So I represent 3 of our partners in the research, that is Witteveen & Bos, AMS, and Wageningen. but I also see that Wageningen is presented also in the participant list. Research Singapore, as introduced already, we started in 2018 after we met in Singapore at the International Water Week 2018 with Mark van Loostrecht, André Strucker from Waternet, and some PUB representatives to discuss about resource recovery and water recovery in Singapore and the Netherlands. And we thought it would be good to start an initiative that ended up in being RESERC. It is a public-private partnership where we have companies, R&D organizations, and governments involved in this program to develop in co-creation new ideas, new strategies, new solutions. Also, the investment comes from either the government, RVO in this time, so the ministries are funding a lot of these activities, but also the companies and the institutes finance the activities. We have three target areas, which is government to government, with the MOU between the Netherlands and Singapore on circular economy. And other activities, we have the knowledge to knowledge activities like KWR, Wageningen, and Delft University. And we have business to business activities. I won't go into these details. You will see that in a video later on, but we have 4 tracks where we have waste related issues like incineral bottom ash, plastic waste solutions, resource recovery from waste and sludge, like what is being done in Singapore in Tuas, or will be done in the future for Mendai projects or programs. And also we are looking for the connection to metropolitan food systems. So we also incorporate the food 3030 ambitions of Singapore and the Netherlands, and are ready for the Green Plan 2030. We have 14 partners, 2 ministries, and 4 research institutes, and then companies representing research, of which Asia Pacific Brewery is the Singaporean company, and we have Nijhuis and Witteveen and Bos as also having offices in Singapore from their commercial activities there. What we have been doing over the last year was, especially since we could not visit Singapore due to COVID, we organized a lot of webinars starting from October to March on these different topics that we capture with research. You can see these webinars also on the YouTube channel of the Netherlands Embassy in Singapore. So you can also look back to what we have done over the last half year on these topics. And then on July, as Harry Sia also introduced the Singapore International Water Week in a hybrid form. On July 1st, we will have a hybrid webinar workshop on the food, water, energy nexus. It will also be a kind of connection. We make it really a little bit interactive to get also a networking event together with that. So on July the 1st, we will host a workshop. And then finalizing my slide, so thank you very much for your attention. I want to mention the LinkedIn community that we have here. We will share the slides later on. You can also visit that LinkedIn. And then it is an honor to me to present the first viewing of the project video we prepared. So if everything going smoothly, then that should be starting in a moment.
Singapore and the Netherlands believe that the path to a truly sustainable future begins with our shared ambition to a zero-waste strategy in our transition towards a circular economy. We face the common challenge of having a high population density and a lack of space. Space we need to use intelligently to maintain a healthy standard of living and preserve the economic prosperity of the Dutch and Singaporeans alike. To fulfill circular ambitions, we need to become increasingly self-sufficient and face the challenges in demand and dependency on resources, the effects of climate change, and waste-related problems. Singapore is well on its way to optimize the interaction between water, energy, and food with the Zero Waste Master Plan and the Resource Sustainability Bill. The Netherlands aims to have a fully circular economy by 2050 and to reduce its use of materials by 50% in 2030. We actively stimulate collaboration between businesses, knowledge institutes, and government. This creates new circular value chains that produce practical, profitable, and sustainable results. International partnership is key to make the transition to a circular economy in our countries, to help accelerate our joint ambition. ReCirc, a public-private partnership of Dutch organizations, was established. In Singapore, an equivalent of 285,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools of used water is treated and discharged every year. When treated, this high-quality water can be reused for irrigation of crops in food production, new water, and industrial water production. Some of our partners co-developed the water and resources refinery concept for high-quality water production and resources recovery from used water by the application of innovative physical-chemical technologies. To complete a circular concept, valuable resources are recovered. Nutrients are recovered for agricultural and chemical application. Organics are recovered for bio-based chemical and bioenergy production. And cellulose for biocomposite and material production. Together, we can explore similar circular concepts that fit the local situation. Concerning the issue of waste, the ReCirc partners can design and implement circular waste systems to reduce the amount of landfill residues by upcycling solid waste, metals, and the ashes that result from waste and sludge incineration. Upcycling waste is essential because at the current rate, the Semakau landfill will run out of space by 2035. By analyzing waste streams, the ReCirc partners can develop zero-waste strategies and find new purposes for these materials. The ReCirc partners develop insights from the circular flows by creating blueprints of systems for water, materials, and food flows. Systems to feed agriculture or aquacultures were already successfully implemented in the Netherlands, Indonesia, and other locations worldwide. The Netherlands looks forward to team up with Singapore. We provide training in circularity through a variety of workshops. We offer circularity scans, integrated sustainable solutions, technology, consultancy, and smart engineering. Let's fulfill our shared ambition. We are ready to meet the challenge of creating a circular economy head-on together.
So thank you very much. With this video, where we also have a short version for social media content later on. But if you like, you can watch it on YouTube and other media. So thank you very much for your attention, and back to you, Johan.
Thank you, Arjen. And yes, very, very insightful and excellent video produced by ReCirc. So the link to the video will also be shared in the community of practice LinkedIn page as well, so that members of the community can access the video later on. We will now have a short presentation on the community of practice and some of the key aspects and salient features of this community. share my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen.
Yep, clear.
Yes, so again, we mentioned that as part of the Partners for International Business Research Singapore program, which aims at stimulating the transition from a linear to circular economy in Singapore and the Netherlands, KWR was engaged by RVO, the Netherlands Enterprise Agency, to develop and establish a community of practice in circular economy and zero waste. This initiative was supported by the partners of research as well, which are listed here again, and Arjen mentioned about them earlier as well. So what is a community of practice? Essentially, it is defined as a group of people who share a concern on a specific topic. In our case, 4 specific topics: food cycle, plastic cycle, incinerator bottom ash, and resources in the water cycle. And these people would like to learn and improve their knowledge together through regular interactions. In a community of practice, there are 3 fundamental elements: the domain, which is the shared interest among the members; the community itself, which has a commitment to collective learning and to sharing knowledge; and the practice, where the body of knowledge is increased through interactions. So when these 3 elements work together in a coherent way, it contributes to a continuous improvement process, in our case, towards a circular economy. What is the purpose of the community practice? First, it is to promote solutions for the transition to circular economy and zero waste. We try to provide solutions mainly for the end users. It will also promote innovative entrepreneurship, as mentioned earlier by Dragan, and business opportunities for both Singapore and Dutch organizations, and hopefully broader, targeting topics related to the 4 mentioned here, and also the integration of these topics towards sustainable zero waste solutions. Who are the members of this community? You, us, the stakeholders from both Singapore and the Netherlands, and potentially broader. They include the industry, regulators, engineering companies, big and small enterprises, consultants, knowledge research institutes, NGOs, potential end users. So there's a broad range of members in this community. And by participating in this community, you'll take advantage of the networking opportunities, learning from each other, and developing initiatives and business opportunities. So as a key stakeholder, we hope and we expect the members to be engaged actively in the community. There are benefits to both the institutions and communities and community members alike. So I won't go through the whole list here. This slide will be shared with you later, but essentially there are short-term and long-term benefits to both the institutions and the community members. For instance, for you as community members, you have access to expertise, you can get help with the challenges that you face. For your organization, it provides a platform, an arena for problem solving, and can also bounce ideas to strengthen quality assurance of your ideas or projects as well. So there are many benefits, both short-term and long-term, that we can get from this community. Some of the key highlights of the community of practice to date. The coordination of the community of practice is done by KWR Water Research Institute for now. We are exploring opportunities to have co-ownership or coordination. If companies, organizations are interested to be part of that coordination role, please let us know. There is a terms of reference developed for the coordinator, which highlights the operating principles and governance structure of this community of practice. But more essentially, I mean, more important is that the success of the community of practice, because it is run on the voluntary time of its members, depends on how much we want to actively engage in this community. There's no secret other than individually and collectively generously share knowledge and learning and be actively engaged. And I think this is a point that Professor Savage mentioned earlier as well. It is our community, and the success of this community depends on our active engagement. We hope to have our next meeting, possibly coinciding with the Singapore International Water Week, end of June, beginning of July. That will be communicated to you later. We have created a linking page. Many of you would have received an email from myself to join this community or this linking page, where many of the information and announcements will be posted there. Please request to join the community and I'll approve it. The link will be shared by Audrey in the chat box. So if you have not received it or you have not yet joined it, please click on the link, request to join the community, and you will be admitted. In the meantime, between now and the end of the program, and between now and the next meeting, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Please put it on the chat box for this meeting. We will capture them and get back to you as soon as possible with answers and comments. Okay, we will have a short break in a moment, and when we come back, we will be placed. You will be placed in a group discussion. We will have 3 breakout groups, namely the food cycle, the plastic cycle, and the resources in the water cycle. If you have not been assigned a group, please let us know in the chat box and mention your preference, which group you want to be admitted to, and we will assign you to one of the groups. Each group has 2 facilitators who will facilitate the discussion. Please brief to the point, as we have a maximum of 30 minutes for the discussion, and the questions that you will be asked to reflect on is shown here. And yeah, so for now we'll have a break, and I will see you back in the main session, plenary session, in about 35 minutes for the closure. Thank you. So our break will be about five minutes. So I'm just looking at the time. It's 10:50, so maybe 11 o'clock Dutch time, and that will be, I think, 5 o'clock Singapore time. We can be back in our groups. Thank you.
de Nederlandse markt
Welcome back. We are waiting for everybody to be back in the plenary session. Probably agree with me that we needed more time, but that's how it is, and that's just like a prelude to what this community will be, with very meaningful and insightful discussions and consultations. We would now proceed with having a short report from the facilitators or from each group. If you have we have made some notes on the highlights of your discussion. I will ask the first group, the food cycle group discussion facilitator or someone from the group to share with us the highlights of your discussion. Is that going to be Sani?
Yes, I'm going to attempt, and I've asked my group members to add if necessary. I summarized it on a slide just to make it a bit easier, so I'm quickly going to share that one with you. I hope you can see it. It was indeed way too brief, but we tried to focus, of course, on the 2030 targets, both resilience and sustainability, also a part of the discussions. In general, the feeling is, and it's also supported by the research efforts, that there is a high volume, there are high volumes of food waste, both unavoidable but also avoidable waste streams. And there's still quite a big data deficit and a reluctancy to self-report on food resource efficiency. Whereas these insights are a prerequisite also to be able to pinpoint certain hotspots and to take impactful actions. We briefly touched upon the Dutch approach of the recent years, really to name and fame good examples and to showcase solutions from private companies. Which is inspirational and can really contribute to an acceleration of this transition. We also talked about the necessity to focus on prevention efforts at a consumer level, and we briefly touched upon things such as portion sizes, and we highlighted several innovative opportunities. On the one hand, also looking at business case innovation, because there's quite some market barriers if we're looking at also valorization of waste streams, if they have to compete with regular virgin material or regular import. We talked about separation innovation in the waste management, creating more opportunities to recycle or even upcycle waste streams. And we also talked about that many of these streams are quite sometimes diverse in composition and maybe not big enough in volume to be utilized in current large-scale processing facilities. So we might also want to look into downscaling and making food processing facilities more modular. That's my short recap. It was a very interesting discussion. And I hope to be able to continue this further in the community of practice that we have today launched. But please add to this if necessary from the food cycle group.
Yes, anyone from the food cycle group discussion, please, if you have any other points that to add. But thank you very much, Tanya. That was impressive recap and already in a PowerPoint slide that quick.
Thanks.
I think it was a very good recap. Thanks, Anna.
So you have a thumb up from your group members. Thank you. And next is the plastic group discussion. Anyone, the facilitators or anyone from your group to report back? Thank you.
Hi, yes. May I invite my colleague Eric to put up some of the key points that we've discussed? Okay, these are the questions on plastic cycle and what are the big themes and areas of priorities. So unlike the water, which has a narrow cycle, plastics is actually a wholly manufactured cycle. So there's opportunities for us to look at how we can transit this to a more circular economy in a planned way. So some of the big themes that we were looking at is perhaps the plastic cycle should be broadened to look at other ancillary industries such as the petrochemical industry, because that's where the plastics are actually from, the crude oil, and then eventually this becomes a plastic product. And thereafter, what do we do with it in the afterlife? So we should also look at the nexus of energy, food, and waste, and not look at just the plastics in isolation. So, and then we look at the different streams, the smaller circles inside. So one of it is single-use plastics, and these are also from the food packaging, and these are all normally contaminated and mixed together with the normal general waste in the municipal waste system. So then there's talk about plastics as a byproduct of crude oil. So some of these single-use plastics that are also contaminated could perhaps be put through some type of technology that converted back to either fuel or back to energy itself. So one of it is chemical recycling, which could be the holy grail of closing the whole circle for the plastic loop. Then we're looking at while doing all these technology solutions, we should also look at the policy imperatives on the issue of carbon emissions. What if we were to burn some of these plastics? What are some of the emissions going out? And of course, from the incineration or burning or converting to some kind of power, there's also the residue. And these are also another stream that we have to deal with when they go to our landfill, especially in Singapore, which is really scarce in terms of land space, similar to Netherlands, Amsterdam. And then we're also looking at how we can scale up some of the solutions we're thinking of. Who are the various stakeholders we can engage? So one thinking is possibly the petrochemical or petroleum companies. I think there's one more that should be part of this is also the marine plastics. There's also another stream of plastics that is going out to the ocean that's not captured in our waste system. How do we capture some of these plastics, separate it from the water, and then after that make something useful out of it? Okay, so these were the first questions for the big themes. For the second question, next slide, please. What are some of the barriers and challenges for us to accelerate this transition? So, first thing is toxic substances and contaminants inside this plastic itself could also make the recycling process a little bit more challenging. And of course, when the plastics get into the water, how do we separate these microplastics from the water? And with this, there are also current technology limitations. So there's an opportunity for us to look at what else we can develop. And in terms of recovering the plastics and also minimizing the production of plastics, the human behavior, the disposal patterns, these will also need to be looked at and also to overcome. So if we were to put in a good system, but humans or the people, if they don't cooperate, then some of this will fall out of the system itself. So this is one of the ground challenges they will possibly face. So opportunities is perhaps bringing all this in the waste, food, and water nexus and this also will require overall structural change. It can be quite huge because it will also look at the economies itself of the country that's going to incorporate this circular economy. And of course, we have to also look at the overall resource and recycling efficiency, and not just at recycling for the sake of recycling, but what is the cost benefit to all. Yeah, thank you very much. That's all sharing for our group.
Thank you very much, Wai Chung. That was as impressive as well, and a lot of good information. Definitely, the plastic plastic cycle is a big topic, and hopefully, this community of practice will create spaces to further explore how we can move closer to the circular economy with regards to plastic recycling. And the last group is the resources in the water cycle group. CJ, I invite you to share with us some of the key highlights of your group discussion.
Yeah, sure. I didn't manage to put everything on the slide, but that doesn't change the fact that the discussion was very, very insightful. So for the first question, in terms of the big themes in the resource recovery in the water cycle, the group talked about 5 bigger themes of what we should be looking at. And the first one is to look at how do we harvest the intrinsic energy and material entrapped in the water or the brine, or in what conventionally we call the waste stream, the sludge. What sort of things we can get from these streams is one of the big themes we looked at, we discussed. And the next one is to step out of the whole water cycle and start looking with the water, food, and energy nexus. How can these 3 big pillars synergize with each other and achieve the sort of circularity that entrap all 3 big topics that is of very big discussion from what we had earlier. And the third theme we looked at is the potential use of different sources of water. One of the participants suggested they have been looking at using seawater for cooling tower, as cooling tower is one of the biggest consumption. If they could make it work, it's definitely will bring a lot more circularity into discussion. And the fourth theme we talked about was turning the big data into smart data. Throughout the entire water cycles or any streams, there are a lot of data entrapped in the system itself. And CDOT talked about how can we deploy the digital technologies such as machine learning and AI and change this all big messy data into smart data where we can just see where the values are with respect to this data. And the last theme we talked about in the discussion session is the development of new physical and chemical treatment technology to the water and the waste stream. Even though we have more than enough technology at the moment, but not all of them might be, not all the technology is of a circular approach. Some of them might use a lot of materials or energies that cannot be recovered. And some of the institution is currently looking at development of new technologies that could reduce the energy consumption or just promote the use of waste as the main product for the treatment. That was the 5 big themes we discussed. And in terms of main challenges, a lot of the challenges is revolving around money or the economic aspect, because from how people see it now, the linear approach is still cheaper than the circular approach as a whole. And other challenges like legislation, public perception, acceptance were also discussed in the session. One of the participants mentioned that he thinks new water is over-treated for industrial use as it's of drinking water quality, but these people might not want to use it for drinking water just because they think the idea of using wastewater as drinking water is not acceptable, even though the quality is all on par with the current drinking water we have. And lastly, we talked about due to the limited availability of energy in Singapore, what sort of other renewable energy can we harness for these sort of processes? Do we look at solar energy, biogas, or blue energy? This sort of this sort of energy we can target to improve these processes of the water resource recovery in the water cycle. That's all, Johan.
Yeah, thank you, CJ. If your group members have anything else to add, please do so. No. So thank you very much to the three groups and the facilitators for facilitating the group discussion and coming back with some insightful messages. We will take them on board and get the community practice or the coordination group to prepare sessions for the next meeting. These are some of the key priorities and ideas you have highlighted today that we can use for the next meeting. We have now reached the end of our program, and I'd like to close this meeting with a vote of thanks. And first, I would like to thank you all for your presence and participation today for this launch of the community practice in circular economy and zero waste. Special thanks to our keynote speakers, Ambassador Bono, Professor Savage, and Mr. Sia. They're not here, but I'm sure they appreciate the thanks that we gave them earlier. Thank you to them again. And thank you to the research coordinator, Arjen, for being here and for presenting research and the video, a wonderful video. Big thanks to RVO from the Netherlands Enterprise Agency for their support in developing this community practice. Many thanks to the Embassy of the Netherlands in Singapore for really helping us in organizing this event. PUB as well for their support, and the other research partners for supporting this community development. And many thanks to the facilitators who kindly accepted to assist us today in the sessions. Last but not least, I would like to say special thanks to Audrey. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing the name well, Audrey Neo from Sonao, who's been really helping us in the background, coordinating things, making things happen, the breakout sessions and the chat and the pictures. So thank you very much, Audrey, for your assistance in leading up to this event and holding it as well. Thanks to Case from KWR for your assistance as well in organizing the launch, Case Force. So now that we have a community, we are now connected. We are now a community and we support each other. And I look forward to really interact with each one of you, either on LinkedIn, on email, any other ways until our next online meeting in end of June or beginning July later this year. So yes, please watch this space, and thank you very much, and have a good evening if you're in Singapore, and beginning of afternoon here in the Netherlands. So maybe for those who are still here with us, we can turn on our video, put some reactions, and you can clap hands and pop up messages and whatever you want to express yourself. So thank you very much again.
Johan, I have a question.
And, yes.
If you see, for example, opportunities to work together in new projects or challenges, how can we share this information most easily?
So you mean within the community, yeah?
Yeah.
So just maybe because we have time, so the community is a kind of a closed community for now, because it's only members who registered to be part of the community that have access to each other, and also we don't want to make it too open. So if you have ideas and you see opportunities, please post them on the LinkedIn page. There will be reactions.
Okay. Yeah, the LinkedIn page, yeah.
The community members will be there. So the more you go and access the community on LinkedIn, the the more messages and the more information you will find. It's our community, it's your community. Let's make it work. Any other questions?
For hosting, Joanne. Very well done.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Audrey is very silent, but Audrey, thank you very much for everything.
Looking forward to the next session already. Thank you very much all.
Hopefully in physical circumstances.
Bye all. Bye-bye.
Bye.